Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. My name is Conor Nestor. Here at Football Discovery, it is our quest to bring guidance to players and coaches alike, to help enhance our love of the beautiful game. The result is we end up talking to a lot of like-minded people who believe, like us, in guided discovery, lifelong learning, and in always putting players first. This week our quest brings us into contact with newly appointed Shamrock Rovers manager Stephen Bradley. Have a listen. Right, so we're here with Stephen Bradley, Shamrock Rovers manager. Stephen, welcome to Football Discovery.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
I just want to start with giving people that are listening, I suppose in our listenership is mainly Irish, but we've got a few international people that tune into us every week as well, so a bit of a background to you. I suppose when you were a young boy growing up in Dublin, you went to the Kennedy Cup with the DDSL and had an offer or two on your table. Just talk to us about what was going through your head at that stage when you were just a young boy, and God, I think was it 22 offers to think about, and where you eventually went and why you went there.
Yeah, it obviously started very young for me. I was brought over to a big club in England at 11 years of age, and they wanted to move me over at that stage. Luckily, I decided against it. It was far too young, and I stayed here until I was 15, and then I moved away to Arsenal. I had a lot of offers. Played Kennedy Cup, played for Ireland, and a lot of offers came my way. So it was just me sitting down and deciding what was the best environment for me to go into. Financially, it wasn't an issue because all the offers were really good offers. It was more to me about the people I would be surrounded by, players, staff, and the club in general, and that's why for me Arsenal stuck out in my mind. I felt the staff in the club, even though it's obviously one of the biggest clubs in the world, it's a family club. Everyone knows each other, everyone gets on, and plus the manager is a legend. He changed the face of English football, and for me, I wanted to be in that building and learn from him. So that was one of the big reasons I went there.
And obviously, you got a massive football education then from your time there. Spent some time in Scotland, come back, played for pretty much every big club in Ireland. And now you've transitioned to obviously being a manager. Specifically from your Arsenal experience, what things stand out from there that you can bring into your new role? Obviously very different worlds in a way, but is there certain things that you saw in Arsenal that you can bring in here to Shamrock Rovers?
Yeah, I've taken a lot from the boss in Arsenal. I liked a lot of what he done. In terms of his approach to games, his approach to training, how he dealt with half-time team talks, pre-game, post-game. His talks were very good, and always impacted you. He wasn't a shouting a roar, but what he said made an impact, and for me that has always stuck in my mind. The training sessions were always geared towards what we were going to do on a Saturday in terms of how we were going to play, and again that's something that's always stuck with me. I wasn't just putting on sessions for session's sake. It was actually geared towards something. That's something that I've brought with me to my coaching and managing role.
Talk to us about the half-time, full-time team talks. Half-time, he says nothing for a few minutes, goes around to individuals. What way did he approach it?
No, he would leave the dressing room alone for maybe 5-6 minutes and let the players speak.
He wouldn't even be in there?
No, he wouldn't be in. And then he would come in and make 2 or 3 really important points. And again, all the points were really relevant to the game. He wouldn't just stay on one thing, that same mistake that happened and stay on that for 10 minutes because it happened. The damage was done. It was about how we rectify it and not let it happen again, and how we exploit their weaknesses and vice versa. So very knowledgeable man, and the way he approached that is something that I've always admired and always looked up to.
Do you think one of the reasons why that approach worked when he first came to Arsenal is the senior players that were in the club, so you're given responsibility to those guys as well as obviously giving your own input then as a manager? Like, there's been lots of ins and outs here with Rovers. From this is your first pre-season as a manager. How important are the senior players that you have brought going to be to building an atmosphere and an environment here?
Yeah, I think creating the right atmosphere and environment is key to any successful team or club. And for me, when I sat down in the off season and looked at the dynamics of the team and the squad, for me it needed to change. It wasn't what I wanted going forward. I felt that we needed a change in personnel and personalities, and I feel that we have personalities and in the dressing room now that can go and lead it and lead it from within, because it has to be led from within. It has to be led from the players. It can't be from the top down. It has to be from the bottom up. And for me, that's really important.
Believing that, then what's your role as the manager? How do you ignite that?
For me, I've got to set the standards myself, in everything I do, my training, how I act around the place, how I speak to my players, and I've got to show them this is the way we are now. This is our culture. This is how we act. This is how we respect certain dressing rooms that we go into, certain buildings we go into. The building we're in at the moment, we respect it. It's about having that respect for your environment and respecting each other as people and as players, and wanting to fight for each other on the pitch, but off the pitch, and demand of each other and demand that the standards stay really high. And like I said, that can't come from me, because as a manager you can't sit on top of your players every minute. That has to come from within your dressing room. It has to come from the players, and I believe we've got the personnel to really drive that.
When you were here last season, I suppose initially as an interim manager, one of the things that stood out was giving opportunity to young players. And I know you would have brought a lot of those young players in your previous role into the club. What was it, other than the talent of those young players, that gave you the confidence to throw them into the deep end like that?
And for me, I first of all, you have the ability. You don't play here unless you have ability. And then second of all, for me, age doesn't come into it. We've got Aaron Bulger, who's playing at 16 years of age, ahead of lads who will be in their early 30s. For me, I've seen it in big clubs in England and in Scotland where I was. You can very quickly overlook what you have in the building as a manager or as a club and think there's always something better out there. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is right under your nose. You just have to have the trust in them young players to go and play. They will make mistakes, and as long as you understand that and accept that from the very start, well then going forward you'll be fine, because they're young, they're going to make mistakes. It happened to us in Cork last year. Shane Hannay played right back, took it down the box, got taken out and he scored. And straight after I had to chat with Shane, I've shown him the video. He understands what he did wrong, but that mistake was always coming. But he will be a better player for him. We'll be a better team because of that. But for me, the big one is the trust. You have to trust them. You have to believe in their ability to go and perform, because it's there. They just want to stage to shine. And once they're surrounded by the right older professionals and the right characters, they'll thrive. For me, I keep going back to people overlook what's in the building. They think there's something better out there. They think he's better because he's 24 or 25 rather than a 17 or 18-year-old. For me, it's not the case.
There's an element of bravery to that, though, isn't there? In terms of, what that experienced player is going to give you.
But on that, you know what he's going to give you. What is that? His limitations. So the 17-year-old, you have an idea what he'll give you, but he has no limits on what he can do. The 24 or 25-year-old is usually set in his ways, and his limitations is his limitations.
And is the payoff then in that bravery of putting that young player in, that number one, maybe he has an affinity to the club that guy you've just brought in, may not have, and number two, as a club, you can really play a massive part, as you've just alluded to, in the growth of that player.
Yeah, for me, it's very important for us as a club here at Shamrock Rovers that we develop our own players, and the real reason is that they understand what it means to play for Shamrock Rovers from a very young age. People from outside, players from outside that come here don't realise until they come. Everyone ups their game against us, whether you're winning the leagues or you're winning cups or not. Everyone wants to be Shamrock Rovers. Everyone comes to Tallaght Stadium and wants to perform the best. And when we're producing our own players, they've dealt with that from a young age. So when they come with the first team, it's no problem to them. Well, we've had players that we've brought in have been really good players elsewhere and come in and really struggled. because you have to deal with that here,
There's big plans obviously here in Rovers on the pitch and off the pitch, and they're long-term plans. Like you've already mentioned about the importance of the players coming in here, respecting the building they're in, respecting different places they go to. Other than that being the right thing to do, that is something that you see in champions and winning teams everywhere. Another thing you see is they do extra. Champions do extra. Well, what's happening in the club, even with the younger age groups, that would fall into that bracket for you, would you think?
Yeah, for me, that's a mindset again. I'm reading. I read a lot of rugby books, and they're big into the culture and like you said, doing extra. The last 10 minutes on the pitch are won in the training ground when no one's watching, and you're willing to work hard. And for me, again, that's a mindset that has to come in. And with our young players, we have them straight from skill, so they come in from skill. They do individual sessions for an hour, they'll have a rest, and then they go train with their team for an hour and a half. They might do that 3-4 times a week. So again, you have them for an extra 4.5 hours that no one else has them, and you're putting in their mind that extra hour, they don't see it as extra, they just see it as training. Some of them will come to you after the training session with their team and say, can we do extra shooting or passing? They're after doing 2.5 hours that day, and if you're getting that 4 times a week, they're doing extra without actually thinking they're doing extra. So for me, going forward, that mentality and that desire to work and that appetite to work is going to be greater.
I suppose walking into the building today, there's loads of ex-players around the place, loads of people with an affinity to the club, but also guys that were, top professionals. And then you've the likes of a Damien Duff as well, who, before we started speaking, is running up and down the gym inside there. So, how vital is that for the younger players? All they've got to do is look around, if you like.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's, for me again, when I came in, it was something I really wanted for all our teams, from 15s up to first team. I wanted players that had played at the club and had a feeling and understands what it takes to play here and win things here. And it's very important. You see the first team staff, you have Glenn Brown, who's won a lot of leagues in this country. Steve Maffei has played in Champions League semi-finals, FA Cup finals. Damien Duff has won the Premier League, played for Ireland. As players, if you can't see that and respect that and see how he works, Damien and Steve Maffei usually after every training session are working on their own, doing extra runs. You think they're still players, but that's their mindset. That's where they've played. And again, our players can only look up to that and respect that and want to mirror that. So again, it's about creating that environment that it's a work environment. We come here and we want to get better. It's not come here to train for an hour and go home. It's an environment where, first of all, you enjoy coming in, and second of all, it's to get better. You're going to work hard here.
So, you're trying to create habits there in subtle ways in many respects, in terms of leading by example, like you said. What are you doing in the club to, I suppose, assess then the development of all those players, from your senior players to your younger players? What is there an ongoing process so that everybody knows where they are? Yeah,
we would have a football meeting twice a month. We have a football committee here at the club, and we would have a meeting, and every player different players, it gets varied from week to week, but you'd have players from 8 to first team that we would comment on, and for the young boys, you're looking at how quick they're growing, where they're weak, obviously where we need to develop them, where they're really strong, how we can make that stronger. And as you go up then, it's more about from 17s, 19s, when is he ready to play first team, what do we need to do to get him ready to play first team, how do we do that? Is it video feedback, is it gym work, is it actually work on the pitch, is it wherever it needs to be, so each age group has a different sort of remit that we have to hit, but we try and hit every team in the club as a football committee, and I'm lucky that I have a really strong football committee. It's very open, the meetings. Everyone says what they feel. It's left in the room, and we walk away and try and make it better. The next time we meet up, it's have we hit A, have we hit B, we haven't done C, why haven't we done it, and we get things done. We find that's a way of getting things done.
I suppose you're at the most historic, most successful club in the country. How important is it in your role to manage expectations now for a newly assembled squad? Yeah,
look, I think it'd be very, very silly for people to think that we'll turn around and win the league. We finished 26 points behind the Knock last year. that's a hell of a lot of ground to make up. But we will make it up over time, like, you know. It just won't happen overnight. So look, we're not silly in the club. We know what we have. We know what we're building towards. It's taken Cork 4 years to win an FAI Cup, like, you know. Let's be honest about it. They've built that squad for 4 years, and all they have to show is an FAI Cup. If you had to come back to me in 4 years' time, I'd hope we'd have a few leagues as well, like, you know.
And back to the recruitment for a minute. I know some of the older players, even though they're still quite young, that you've recruited, have been captains in previous roles that they've had. Like, how do you see that panning out? So you're definitely looking towards the future, but even those kind of mid to 20 year olds that you've recruited, it looks as though they might be leaders for you already.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head, Conor. For me, when we sat down in our recruitment meeting, we wanted to take as many captains from other clubs as possible, and the reason being, they're captains for a reason. They're leaders, they're characters. You look in our squad now, I think we have 6 former captains of other teams, so straight away you have 6 leaders on the pitch, like, and that was always my mindset. It was always my goal to have that, and then you can mix 1 or 2 young boys in around that, and for me you have a very good mix.
So if you're looking at the Shamrock Rovers model as it is right now, I know there's plans for the future, but you've got young players coming in here, maybe doing individual sessions with the likes of yourself or Damien Duff or Stephen McPhail. They're then going into a dressing room where they have peers, maybe slightly older peers, leading in that respect, and yet they're living at home with their families. They're grown up with their mates. You know, is this a viable alternative now to going to England?
Yeah, I think you only have to look at our young players that are in the team. You have Aaron Bulger, Sean Boyd, Mikey O'Connor, Dean Dillon, Trevor Clark. We've had offers for 4 of them players already from first team offers, and them boys have decided they want to stay here for another year or 2 and play here. So for me, as a 15 or 16 year old, why would you go to England and get lost in the academy system when you can come and play first team football for the biggest club in the country? It's a no-brainer for me, because you go away then as a man on the pitch and off the pitch, and you're ready to go and show your real potential and your real ability, instead of going as a young boy that gets lost in the system and you become a number. You go as a real proper first team player that you have to be taken serious. And like I said, if you look at our players, like, you know, we'd be very lucky to hold on to them for the next 2 or 3 years, I think.
You've been involved with Arsenal since you finished as a player as well on the recruitment side. So go back to recruiting young players apart from their ability. What is it that stands out for a young lad that you see, you know, anywhere around the country at the moment, that says to you either A, that lad could play for Arsenal maybe, or B, that could be a Rovers first team player? What kind of traits are you looking for, or what technical qualities?
For me, it's about the game intelligence. You can dress her up any way you want. If you don't understand the game, you're not going to play at a high level. You can be as big as everyone, or bigger than everyone at 14, 15, stronger than everyone, quicker than everyone. I've seen loads of them in Dublin that have gone to all these clubs because they're bigger, stronger, quicker from the age of 12 to 15. For me, if you haven't got game intelligence, you'll get found out fairly soon when you go to England, because like being there, I understand what's in the building, and that's a big part why the manager has decided to bring a lot of ex-players in as scouts, because they understand what it's going to take to achieve there and progress. And physical capabilities alone is not enough. You need to completely understand the game. You need to be ahead of the game in your head by 2 or 3 steps all the time. They're the 2 big things for me. If I don't see that in a player, 9 times out of 10 I wouldn't look at them a second time, whether they score a hat-trick and they're the quickest player on the pitch and they're overpowering someone. If they don't show that they've made a good understanding of the game, for me it's no interest in me.
I suppose there'll be a lot of people listening to this who are involved in grassroots football or involved in clubs that have produced a lot of players in the past. I suppose from my experience over the last 10 years, I don't think here in this country we've created a lot of players. Even created is probably the wrong phrase, but there hasn't been a lot of players with the game intelligence you talk about. Are they there and we're missing them, or are we doing something in training sessions or within clubs that's, you know, going against creating those players?
I think it's both. I think we're missing them because we're afraid of losing at young ages, so we're afraid to play them. And I think that's a big problem. And the second one is, I think coaches now think that putting on 17 drills in one session is a good session. And what you're doing is you're telling the player how to pass from A to B and 1 to C. You're actually training nothing, you're training the player to follow orders. The game of football has all been about being reactive, proactive. It's not about following orders. It's not about going from A to B and playing to C. Very rarely happens in a game. Very rarely do you see a passing drill that replicates a game situation. So coaches need to change their mindset in terms of, you can buy 50 drills on the internet for $1 or something now, and people think it's great, and they go and put on a session. There's actually no thought process or plan behind it. And we're taking, for example, take a passing square, and many times when you reverse it onto the weaker foot, will you see the player using his body to manipulate the ball so he doesn't have to use his weaker foot. So, and then when we're training, you'll stop it and correct the mistake. But you won't actually understand what the problem is, like, in terms of everything beforehand to use his weaker foot, So
because the player can't see that visual of this is a drill, it's not the game.
Exactly, you won't understand it. So you're losing the whole concept of training, And I watch sessions. My wife kills me. I'm out every night of the week, even though I'm in with the first team. I love watching sessions, whether it's a 9-year-old or a 19-year-old. I love watching training. I think you pick up something no matter who you watch. And for me, the number one problem in Ireland that I see is that we're trying to do drills. It's not coaching. It's not. It's just telling people you can follow a plan and follow a diagram that's on a page. It's not coaching.
So, your modern day coach then, how important is the planning and organising process when they're planning and organising a session? So that the session can be game-like in what you've just described, and B, so that they don't have to interrupt. Do you know what I mean? So, how important is that process here in Rovers from the first team all the way down? I know it will differ in terms of how much time the people have, maybe, but the planning and organising process so that the training can be more player-centred rather than coach-centred.
Yeah, I think you really have to plan. I think if you, as a coach, it has to be your number one target is to plan, because if you don't, your session goes out the window. You start doing sessions and drills for you to look good, or for you to get an hour in, or for you to do an hour and a half. It's not about how you want your team to play. You might think it is because of pass rate, we're going to play in there, check it back and it goes long. Again, it's all in the square. It's not related to a game, The planning and the detail and how you're going to play over a long period of time and break your sessions right down to the first session, but always have the long one in your mind where you're going. For me, people don't do that. In my opinion, they just look at Monday, Thursday, Friday, this is how we're going to train, and none of it relates. You might go, and I've seen some sessions that go from a passing drill to a shooting drill to a defensive drill. For me, I don't see the logic in that. There has to be, the players have to understand there's a flow in your session, what you're trying to achieve out of it, and how you're going to get there.
So it's the equivalent to hopping from maths to German to English within an hour.
Within an hour, and you're asking Johnny, who's 14 or 15, to understand that. It's impossible. You haven't for an hour. You've bombarded him with everything you've read on the coach's manual. Johnny hasn't learned one thing,
And it's probably a setback that's come from this kind of instant gratification mindset that there is, I guess, in the world today, But the people in charge of football in Ireland, obviously, and the people in charge of your local club need to take that more long-term view, obviously, to get that right.
Yeah, for me, in the clubs, it's still very much about winning on Saturdays and Fridays, and we've spoken about this on numerous occasions in the past regarding it's about telling his mates, we won this league, I won this cup, and it's gone back to the creative players not playing because X is stronger than him and blah blah blah. We need to get rid of that whole mindset. It's going to take time, but
how do we educate the parents in that whole scenario? Because the parent is going to decide where he or she is going to take the kid, right?
Yeah.
Club A is saying we won the league last season. What are Shamrock Rovers saying to the parents in that circumstance, and how do you educate them?
Well, we've had that very scenario. We've started a schoolboy club here that had nothing, had no teams, and very quickly we've got all of our teams into the top leagues, and that's because we've sold to the parents that we will give individual training, we'll break the game down, we will make a kid better. We're not going to play little small lad on the left wing because he's a number 10 or he's a centre midfielder, but we play him left just to win a game and get through. We might lose a few games over it, but when he takes his growth to 15, 16, 17, he's going to fully understand his position. And that's what we've sold the parents, and that's what we do, like, you know. And the parents have bought into that, and they've seen we actually do it. Like, you know, we spend hours and hours in the afternoon with kids. So you'd have Damien working with wingers, you'd have Steve McPhail working with midfielders, Graham Garland working with defenders, and you'd have 4 or 5 in a block, and you'd be breaking down the game for them and making sure that they're getting what they need to become better individuals. It's not. We need to get rid of the concept of the team stress and shoot everyone. It doesn't. It's gone back to the drills thing. Or we'll do possession, but your 2 centre halves might need to work on moving their feet into areas, awareness of runners off them. They might need to work on their head, and they might need to work on distribution. But it's not getting worked on because you're just in a big possession and keeps giving away the ball. So again, it goes back to your planning, your detail, break down your sessions, what you're trying to achieve, how you're going to achieve it, and really nail that out.
You spoke about that kind of small technical winger, right? Going on the mindset of what you're talking about, the game now is an extension of your training sessions, right? It's part of the plan. How helpful would it be here if you could have that smaller technical player playing down an age group, up an age group, and how easy is it? Is that something that you find difficult to do because of, you know, registration here in Ireland sometimes prohibits that?
Yeah, we need to change that big time in Ireland, you know, in terms of moving players freely within the club. Let's be honest, it's about developing that player. So if he needs to move down or up an age to development, I don't agree with players moving down just to win a game 6-0 is bigger. I don't get that, but like in England they're doing the bio banding now, so players of equal size and stature play against each other. I think it's something we could look at. We always move our young players up. Very rare would you show up on a Saturday to watch your schoolboys and we'd have our full under 12s, 13s, 14s out. We would move them all at different times. So, for example, we have 2 midfielders for under 12s, they would go and play under 13s as left centre back and left back to work on the left foot. And again, we've lost games over it. But we know in 2 years' time that boy will be a centre midfielder that can use both feet and completely understand the game. Plus, if you take a midfielder out, and coaches always do this, they have a habit of a midfielder keeps making a mistake and they keep shouting on to him, you need to turn out, you need to do this, you need to do that. What they really need to do is take that player and plant him where the pass is coming from, so he understands what the player who's passing the ball sees, because he's in the middle, so he's obviously not getting the picture because he keeps giving away the ball. So instead of just keep telling him, take him out and put him as the passer in the game. So play him right back and say, play into midfield. If he's played 5 balls in, I guarantee if you sit down after the game with him, he'll tell you what the midfielder would see, and he'll understand now that's what you're talking about because he's seeing it from a different angle. And we don't do that enough here. And again, it's something that we try and do all the time.
Does that come from a lack of coach or club or whatever, that lack of looking at themselves first in terms of the player hasn't learned what you want them to learn, and we go home, driving home in the car thinking, you know, Johnny just doesn't listen.
He's not up to it, yeah, he's not good enough, and we just discard him instead of actually thinking, am I delivering the message in the right way? Like, how do I get the message across? Do I have to break it down? Do I have to do something? Again, it's going back to the lazy mentality of drills. Like, I'll go onto the internet, I'll get drills. We play this way because I've seen Barcelona play this way. We play this way because I've seen Klopp play this way. You've got to do your own thing. Like, you've got to come up with your own ideas and your own thoughts on it, and how you're going to improve these players. Like, you know, and for me, again, I know because I was a young centre midfielder, I was always smaller than everyone, so I had to be clever and use my body. And I was took out there and put in different positions when I was in Arsenal to show different pictures of what I'm seeing when I'm in there. And by the time I was 20, fully understood. I was fully understood what the coach was talking about and the manager was talking about. And for me, if you do that from a young age, by the time them kids are 13, 14, you have a complete midfielder in your hands.
It was the doing that you learned from, it was the situations. It wasn't somebody didn't say something to you and the penny dropped.
No, you never get that. As a kid, you can say all you want to kids. They won't get it. They'll nod at you and say, yeah, they won't get it. They'll go home and think, what was he talking about? You need to involve them. You need to visually show them. They need to experience it. They need to see it. And another one for me, which really annoys me in this country at all ages, from first team down, is that we tell players they're 6s, they're 8s, they're 10s, and we only ever play him in that position. So by the time you come to 16, I've had many people on the phone to me about a certain number 6 in Dublin. How have you not taken it to Arsenal? How have you not taken it to Arsenal? Because I'm not competing with Shamrock Rovers or St Kevin's. I'm competing with the lad at Barcelona, the lad at PSG, the lad at Bayern Munich. And there's always going to be a better 6 out there. So you have to be able to do everything. So then that player, if that 6 can become an 8 and a 10, or can do an old-fashioned 2, box to box, now you have a proper player in your hand where you can recommend and say, this boy can do everything in the field. Where if you send a 6, I guarantee you they'll have someone outside who's a better 6. So it's a mindset we have to get out of as well. This boy's a 6, he's a great 6 because he plays there for Shamrock Rovers, say, and he's better than the boy at Kevin's or Joey's or Belvedere or whoever it is. He's better than him, so he's a great 6. We need to lose that mentality because we're killing players. We're killing them when they get to an age like and they think they're a great 6 and they go and play against a proper number 6. They're struggling. Like,
And is that again an issue with coach education or understanding the game? You see that small technical player. Some clubs he's put on the wing because he's small, as simple as that, or he's played in the 10. Whereas, like, when you actually just look at him as a player, you think, well, long term, these attributes will say that actually he might be a 6.
Yeah, exactly.
But they'll level play him there because he's going to get pushed off the ball at that age group, and it's going to result. Last question, because I'm conscious of your time, and we go back to the first team here. I suppose last season was a completely different situation, and now it's kind of they're the players that you've chosen to bring to the club. What is in 12 months' time, when we look back on this season, what's the Shamrock Rovers style of play going to be? What's it going to look like? What are the kind of key indicators for you before a match starts that you're looking for to say, yeah, this is what we're looking for here?
Yeah, we look to play football. We look to get the ball on the ground and pass the ball. We look to play a really high tempo, and we look to be aggressive and win in our possession. And that means going forward at the opportunity. Playing football doesn't mean 20 passes around the back and we lose the ball. If we can go forward with one pass, we'll do it. At the end of the day, our aim has to be, under no illusions, have to win football games. So I want to play the right way, and we will. But we have to go and win games, and I want my players to play with passion and pride for the shirt they're wearing. And people might think it's a cliche. For me, it's been missing for too long from this club. And again, it's what the young boys give you, and I believe the older boys that we have in now really believe in that, and we'll show that to the fans. We lose games, of course we will. It's going to take us time to get where we want to get to, but what I could guarantee is we won't roll over anyone. We'll stand up to everyone and we'll fight everyone, and like I said, if we lose, but we won't lay down and roll over for anyone.
Brilliant, Stephen. Thanks very much for your time, and on behalf of everyone in Football Discovery, best of luck for the season.
Cheers, thanks Conor. Thank you.
It was Johan Cruyff who once said, "You can divide tactics into insight, trust and daring." When you look at Stephen Bradley's young managerial career to date, he has already revealed to us his insight and his vision, particularly when you look at the role that he has played in the restructuring of Shamrock Rovers Football Club from top to bottom. Another thing he has illustrated is his daring nature. If you look at all the young players that he deployed last season when he was interim manager, it would appear that the missing piece in the jigsaw is indeed trust, a word that Stephen mentions on more than one occasion in this podcast. For success to come back to Shamrock Rovers, that trust will have to be invested from the board, the players, the staff, and of course the fans. If all parties invest in this trust, we here at Football Discovery definitely believe that Stephen Bradley will be the man to bring silverware back to Shamrock Rovers. From those of us here at Football Discovery, we wish Stephen, his staff and players the very best of luck for the season ahead. And to those of you who listen to this podcast and who keep coming back, thank you for your support. And remember, learn long and prosper. Thanks for stopping by.